Welcome to Smartwatch Tics. I really love the collaborative nature of what we're finding on the internet with respect to this new technology. Just got a message a little while ago from one of our YouTube channel viewers, Paul Tester, who said, you know, with all the stuff you're having difficulty with getting into the different settings on this No.1 D5 smartwatch, you ought to try installing this app called Settings Search. It works well on the watch. Oh, really? All right, let's check it out. You know what? He's absolutely right. By installing Settings Search, all of a sudden, you get this menu that has all these different categories in it, and each of the categories takes you into a deeper menu of options than you can find on the standard Settings app with the D5. For example, accessibility. You have all sorts of things like Assistive Touch, whatever that is. I'm not sure, but it's on here. Mobizen is the app that we installed to talk back and forth, you know, and remote control and the watch, and it's got a setting in here now. You don't see that at all on the standard settings. You can turn captions on and off, and this is what I really wanted to show you. The Magnification Gestures is on. Now, you know what that is? You should if you use an Android phone. That's where you can triple tap and it'll magnify your screen. You got it right. That is now available simply by running this Settings Search app. And of course, we did have the text capability when we went in with voice command before with the floating commander to increase the text. It shows up again here. A power button that'll end the call. Auto rotate the screen, which lets you automatically, when you turn it, rotate it. I thought that would be cool. It's not. I'm going to turn it off. Anyway, you might like it. It depends on what you're going to do. If you're going to lay in bed with the thing sideways and want to watch your YouTube videos, maybe. It'll speak your passwords if you want to. And there's the accessibility shortcuts, which because you can't put shortcuts on this operating system overlay, the launcher, it probably doesn't work. Text-to-speech output, which is where you have it speak in the different voices. Your touch and hold delay, and something called Quick Boot, which I haven't enabled because I don't know if it doesn't work. I don't know if I could boot up the watch. I'm scared on a few of these things. I don't want to lose all the capabilities here. But that's just an example of one of the menus that you get with this Settings Search app. Kinda hard to read, huh? Kinda small. No problem. Triple click. Look at that. This is perfect for a watch to have the triple click capability. If nothing else, that's worth getting this app. But you have all these other things too. When you tap into applications, you go into the standard default application aspect that we're used to on Android, where you can see your downloaded, the ones that you can move to what they call phone storage. That's not your internal storage, that's your external storage. And all of these, if you check, I've got the little check mark on the side, have been moved over. These are the ones that are capable of being moved, and I've moved them off of my internal memory to the phone storage, which is similar to the SD card external storage on a regular phone. You have your running apps, you have all of your apps, and you can indeed disable some of the bloatware or installed apps that come with the watch. And they do not appear anymore in the scroll listing of your capabilities. These are the ones I've turned off, just in case you got your D5 and you're not planning on having a SIM card in it, then there's no reason to have the phone and the messaging. If you're going to use the Google Calendar, you have to disable the internal calendar or it will compete, and this one wins. Basic daydreams, if you've ever used daydreams on a regular phone, it's like when it's plugged in, it just puts your wallpaper up there and zones out. I don't see any purpose for it, so I took it off. Its default was clock, so maybe it's supposed to keep the clock on when it's plugged in, but it seems to work anyway without it, so I disabled it. Your dialer health, You know, it's doing the pedometer thing all the time in the background, and when you activate the sensor on the back to do your pulse, that's using up battery power, both of them. It's cute. I don't know if they're that accurate. I don't really care. If I want to do health, I'm going to get something much more sophisticated than what's built into the watch. So I disabled it to save some space and memory and battery mostly. There's the messages I talked about. Messages and dialer go together for making phone calls, sending SMS if you're putting a card in here. I generally use this tethered to my phone and use Groove IP. Perhaps Facebook Messenger would work, not sure. But whatever VoIP client you want to use, tethered Wi-Fi to your phone should allow you to place and receive phone calls directly on the watch. And you don't have to use a SIM card, and you don't need those extra apps. And finally, Pinyin Mi is the Chinese keyboard implementation on the watch, which I'll never use, so I've disabled that as well. All that because we can get into applications, and I can get into applications because of settings search. All right, so really check it out. This is another one of, I'd say, a must-have app that I didn't even know about before. Paul Tester came by and said, hey, you might want to check this out. Bluetooth stuff, data roaming stuff, your date and time, your device stuff. Can you read that? System update, status, legal information, blah, blah, blah. That's where you go down and you get your about information. Display, input methods, internal storage. Okay, this is the total space available with a breakdown into apps, pictures, videos, all that stuff that you usually can do on the phone. You've got it right here. Once it catches up on reviewing what you've got, here's the phone storage. The internal storage now, I've got it at 629 megabytes used with 201 available. That was way down to about 50 before I moved those apps off of here so that they'd run on the other partition. 468 megabytes is in apps, and I basically, small amount of cache. The phone storage itself, which is available, is 2 gigabytes. 2 gigabytes of space as opposed to 629 megabytes total, okay? And that leaves a lot of space. Now, part of this that I have taken up, 1.41 is available in terms of apps. This is what's moved over here now that's actually running. And you got pictures and cache data and miscellaneous. And you could, of course, erase all of that stuff from here as well. By the way, we asked a question about how do you take a screenshot of this watch. Nobody's found out a way yet because you only have one button. However, if you connect it to Mobizen, watch the video on that, on the side menu next to where the picture of the watch is displayed, you'll see a screenshot button. You tap that button, it takes a perfectly rectangular picture with the round center being what's on the watch. I believe it's 400 by 400 pixel image. It could be 360 by 360. That's the resolution here. But I think the picture itself is... Anyway, it takes a nice picture and it stores it in the pictures folder here so you can go into the gallery and actually look at your screenshots on your watch itself. So if you're out and about doing your navigation and you want to take a screenshot, well, you can't do it when you're out and about, but you can do it with Mobizen, okay, when you're at home or whatever, however you can tether into it. So that's another nice thing is to take a look at your storage. Locale is where you are and your location sources. Managing your SD card, if available, well, there's no SD card, but it presumes that you've got the... that being your SD card, and it's just another look at the same thing, basically. Network information. NFC, we do not have a near-field communications card in here that could let you use Google Wallet or any of that kind of stuff. So these settings don't apply, but they show up. Power usage, privacy. This is where I was really hoping that we would be able to... well, this one and security, to be able to get into the administrative privileges. If you watched the previous video, we're kind of stuck with this particular app being uninstallable because it's got administrative privileges, and that messed me up. and I can't uninstall it. The only thing I could do is factory restore it. I was hoping that this would bail us out of that when you go into security, which is coming up right here, but it doesn't. When you go into security, you still only have two options, the standard two that come with the internal system display, so there's still no way to access administrative services or permissions to deselect the launcher here from being in the device. Fortunately, I really like it. I'm happy it's in there. But again, a warning, if you install that and you need to uninstall it, if you've given it admin privileges, this app or any other app that you do that with, you're not going to be able to take it off of your device without completely factory restoring until we figure out how to get into that memory section. Stuff on Wi-Fi. This is where we were hoping that you'd be able to set it so that Wi-Fi could run in the background and be kept on during sleep. Set it to always instead of just when it's plugged in or never. It looked like, wow, this is it. Set it for Wi-Fi on always. But unfortunately, the watch overrides this system setting. And even though I've got it set that way, if I turn the watch off, immediately Wi-Fi goes out. If I turn the watch on, I have to wait maybe up to 10 seconds for it to reconnect before I can tap one of these, well, this one here, to the floating commanders so that I can access Google Voice or any of the other voice recognition software that's installed on here. You just got to be patient. It's got to acquire Wi-Fi. 3G, I don't know. If you got 3G card in here, I imagine it shuts data off on that as well, and you still have to wait, but maybe not as long to acquire it. Okay, so lots of options in here. Once again, a shout out to Paul Tester. A thank you for identifying this app to us. That's the way this works. This is a user-supported and supplied and involved community. If you know of things we should be taking a look at that would enhance our use of this new technology in a watch format, please leave them in the comments. We're at Smartwatch Ticks, which is youtube.com/Smartwatch Ticks, all one word. And just pick your video of choice and leave us a comment. Thanks for watching, and special treat coming up next. Maury is back.